Hi, you guys. I'm Phil Town from Rule 1 Investing, and today I want to talk to you about some of the things you should not invest in. So when it comes to investing, choosing not to put your money someplace can be just as important, maybe even more important, than putting it in other good investments. After all, one bad investment can water down all the rest of your portfolio and cripple your returns, which is why we call this rule number one investing: don't lose money. So what we're going to focus on is avoiding that bad investment. And while there's no way to know for sure the exact companies that you should avoid, there are certain guidelines that help keep you on the right track. First, don't invest in companies you don't understand. Investing in a company requires a really deep level of understanding as to how that company operates, what their mission is, what the obstacles and competitors are, and more. I want you to think about it like investing in like a house in your neighborhood where you would buy it and rent out the house. You're going to know a lot about that house before you commit your money to that for the next 20 years. And that's exactly the level of understanding you should have in a company. Otherwise, you're just speculating. And speculating is just another version of gambling, and that's not what we want to do with our retirement money. Now imagine you were considering buying 100% of a company. Wouldn't you want to know everything about that company you possibly could before it became your major possession and you're its sole owner? I mean, it's a huge investment, and surely you wouldn't want to sink all your money into something you're not confident will succeed. So regardless of whether you're buying 100% of a company or just a tiny fraction of it, the same exact level of scrutiny should apply. This is still your money and your future. Believe me, when Warren Buffett buys an entire company, or whether he buys some shares of a company, he's treating it exactly the same way, as if he's buying all of it. So before you consider investing in a company, make sure you are completely familiar with the company and the industry it operates in. Preferably, you're going to at least be somewhat familiar with these things before you even start researching the company. So any company you're not deeply familiar with should be avoided. Second, don't invest in companies with management you don't trust. Even the best companies are only as good as the people leading them. And if these people are leading the company in a way that you think is bad, in the way they're treating their employees, the way they're treating the environment, whatever it is against your values, chances are that's untrustworthy management to you. Look, there's always going to be CEOs and other executives who cut corners. That's just the real world, right? There's going to be people who engage in shady and business practices. There's going to be people who ultimately put their company in jeopardy out of pure selfish disregard. And at first, these companies may seem to be doing quite well. Yeah, right, until it comes to a head. And they may be even benefiting from unethical leadership. That's entirely possible too. But in my view, unethical leadership never turns out well in the long run for the company, and it's always the shareholders who suffer the most. So how do you tell if a company has untrustworthy management? Well, you start by looking at their past track record. Ideally, it'll be squeaky clean, and honestly, for most people who are running public companies, they've been vetted pretty well before they ever got there. If you do find an executive that's been engaged in some kind of shady business in the past, safe bet they'll be tempted to do it again. Second, you want to take time to analyze a CEO's communication with their shareholders. How upfront and honest have they been in the past? Or do they try to sugarcoat problems and hype up expectations higher than they should be? Or were they honest in the face of trials and success alike? You do this by looking at the letters the CEO writes every year. If a CEO comes across in those letters more like a salesman than an honest leader, you should avoid that company like the plague. Lastly, you're going to want to look at their salary. Is their compensation justified by performance, or are they drawing a massive paycheck without moving this company forward as a leader? In other words, are they just sort of managing expectations, buying back stock to increase earnings per share, and basically working very hard to make sure their stock options pay off, rather than building a great company? Being paid large sums without producing doesn't necessarily make the CEO untrustworthy, but it can make them complacent, or let's just say not a CEO we get real excited about, which is almost as bad for the shareholders of the company as a guy who's completely unethical. Third, don't invest in companies that aren't on sale. If you found an amazing company with great management that you understand and believe in, then you're well on your way to making a sound investment, but it's essential that you wait for the market to put that company on sale. If it's not there yet, you stick it on the watch list, keep an eye on it. The margin of safety is there to help you avoid risk, and you've got to be patient and wait. If that company doesn't do as well as you thought it would, at least you'll have the solace, if you buy it on sale, that you paid 50% less than the market price. That little margin of safety can save you a lot of pain. The good news is that prices do go up and down. And if you're patient enough, great buying opportunities on excellent companies will come up. It's important though, do not buy companies that aren't priced on sale. While you make money doing this sometimes, you also have the risk of losing a lot of money as well. And remember rule number one, we're out to focus on not losing money. So how do you determine if a company's on sale? Well, to calculate the value of the business, I suggest you go look at what we call the margin of safety calculator. For Rule 1 Investing, it's over on rule1investing.com. It's recommended that you buy a company at a price. It's recommended. I said, I'm recommending that you buy a company at a price that allows you to safely make a return of at least 15% a year over a period of 10 years. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever invested in a company and gotten burned? Leave a comment below. We're going to get flooded on this one, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, you guys. Now go play. Hey, you guys, if you enjoyed this video and you think it was valuable in teaching you more about what types of investments you should avoid, hit the like button and please share this video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And by the way, don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.